Today, watch this episode. It's great. I interview radio personality Mandy Connell, and we have so much fun. Stay tuned. Hi! I'm so excited. I'm so excited you're here. Really.
Well, I'm glad to be here for you. So let's rock and roll.
This is a little nerve-wracking because you're so good at this.
No, but here's the thing. It's just a conversation. It's just a conversation. Just remember that. There's no right or wrong. It's a conversation. You know, that's all it is. We're just sitting in a very odd environment to have a conversation, but that's all it is.
Well, we should say today I'm interviewing Mandy Connell. So this is so exciting. You started this whole thing.
Wait, I want you to start your whole show. You got to start with the proper entrance.
Okay.
That's the only thing. Like, she's like, I'm so nervous. I'm like, no, you have to start with the proper entrance.
Okay.
Hi, welcome to Kara. The whole, you know.
Well, we have the intro and outro now, so
I
now
know,
you've taught me.
Fancy.
Just go. Today, I'm here with renowned talk show host Mandy Connell.
I don't know about renowned.
Renowned means people know you.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
I didn't go famous, but you could say that too because people know you.
I say I'm an L-list celebrity. Like you have A-list, you have B-list. I'm an L-list celebrity because I'm a local celebrity.
Oh,
you know, I'm not
local.
famous. I had a little boy come up and he goes, "Are you famous?" And I said, "Well, we really need to define that word, okay? Because
you did that whole show on
exactly. I'm famous enough to deal with some of the downside without getting invited to Oscar after parties.
So you don't get all the good.
Exactly. You just get all the bad stuff and you don't get a lot of free stuff. So that's kind of where
we're going to move you off the L list.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I want to say that I feel really lucky that I got to do this. I didn't even, honest to goodness, know what a podcast was when I started. You know, you had this whole thing where we could kind of invent our own little shows, and you helped us so much along the way and gave us little notes and here's what to do and here's what not to do. Hopefully I'm getting better. I mean, I think hopefully I'm trying to do a lot of interviews so that I can they say to get really good at anything, you have to do it 100 times. So I figure I'm on about 20. So I've got about 80 more to do. And it's always good because you give us little notes and here's what you should do. And, you know, Deb, our producer, is always, you know, Kara, you got to get rid of the sums and the ums and the so's. And
Deb's a much tougher audience than I am.
Oh my gosh.
She listens with such a discerning ear.
Yeah.
I'm listening for kind of big picture things. She's listening for the details.
Yeah.
Like, you know, she's going to give you the really fine sort of feedback that you need.
Well, you got rid of the so's and you replaced it with So now I go, okay, no so's in it. Anyway, let's go over what started all this because, I mean, now I get Kara's Corner, and again, it's developing as we go along. It's just been, 6 months?
Yeah,
maybe,
can you
or
believe?
So? Oh
it
my
feels
gosh.
like 10 years.
Feels like 10 years. I was going to say, it feels like we've been doing this forever.
It really does. But this
how did it all start?
This idea, the Ladies Chit Chat Club, started for me, you know, probably about 7 or 8 years ago. I would say in earnest dreaming. Okay, and there's 2 different kinds of dreaming that I do. One is that, wow, you know, I'd really love to climb Mount Everest. Well, I'm telling you people right now, that is never going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, I like the idea of it, but the actual climbing of Mount Everest, no, I'm not doing that. So that's one kind of dream. But when I really started thinking about this and dreaming about it and dreaming about what it could be, that was about 7 years ago. And podcasting was really in its infancy, and really the only reason I knew about it is because I was already in broadcasting. I was in radio, so people were starting to talk about it a little bit, but it wasn't really a thing. And I thought, wow, I could create a platform that was for women, because in talk radio, commercial talk radio, the target demographic, every radio station has a target demographic. We have a target demographic on the Chit Chat Club. And the target demographic for talk radio is men, and it's always been men, because traditionally talk radio has been by men for men, and that sort of created the misconception that women don't listen to talk radio, which is crazy, because I mean, if you give women something they want to listen to, they will tune in and they will be your most dedicated listeners, your most dedicated followers. But it just wasn't a priority because of, I'm going to say, kind of a sexist misconception by old school program directors and radio stations, and that has changed so much, but the industry that I'm in is still lagging behind in that. So I started thinking, wow, I could create this podcast platform and we could target women and we could talk about the things that I don't talk about on my show because I'm aware of the audience that I'm targeting. And it's just been sort of percolating, and my husband and I have been talking about this for 7 years on and off, just what we'd like to do, how we'd like to do it, but we needed a business partner. And that took a long time to find the right business partner. And I met Deb, my business partner, when she was working for another one of my clients. And we hit it off right away, and then she left that job, and I called her and said, hey, how would you like a low-paying job in a company that does not exist? And she said, tell me more. And we talked about it, and we started making it happen. I mean, she fills all the gaps that I have, which is anything business related. I can't make a budget or a spreadsheet or any of that stuff, and she's just so good at all of that. And it's been a real positive. And we started working on it last December. Doing web development and all that stuff. And then we launched in June. And I do feel like it's been a year since June. I mean, so much has happened. Yeah. So you guys.
But think about it. It's just been a year since
since we actually physically started
11
working
months.
on it. Yeah. And so I have to remind myself that, we don't have 1 million listeners yet.
Yeah.
I have to walk that back and say, really, we've been open for 6 months. So managing my expectations has been really challenging, but I also feel like we're on the right track. If I didn't feel like we were on the right track, then I would be really frustrated. But I listen to the stuff that you guys are putting out there, and I'm so proud. That's the emotion. I'm proud. I'm proud because I know where you guys started. I know where you are now. You're getting all these amazing guests, and the podcast quality is so far above where I thought it would be.
Are we getting better?
Yeah, everybody's getting better. And that's the thing, I think it is a blessing and a curse that I have no audio from my early shows. None at all. I don't have anything from those first couple of years because I think I would listen now and I would be kind of horrified.
Yeah.
So, I mean, from a, reminiscing point of view, it'd be kind of fun to listen, but I don't have any of it. So I can't go back and critique myself. Yeah. But I will tell you that the progress that you guys make and I continue to make and are constantly moving forward, and it's like watching your children grow up and graduate from medical school. It has to be kind of like the same kind of feeling, only cheaper. And it's just been really great. That part of it for me has been.
Well, it's your baby.
Really, it is
so
my
you're
baby.
Watching this whole show. Ladies Chit Chat Club is your baby, and you're bringing it out of its infancy, and it is getting better and better. I do listen to some of the other shows, and we all listen to each other, and it's become kind of a sisterhood because Cheryl and I have so much fun. The two of us, we'll call
the
her
Femininja.
The Femininja.
Not tried the
Crystal,
Femininja
the wine yogi.
Yeah.
I mean, she's so great. I mean, we all kind of have fun together.
And that part of it, that sisterhood part of the Chit Chat Club is a huge part of the plan for me, not just for our podcasters, but I want to create an online and offline community because we all are so busy and we're so caught up in our lives, and I want to provide an opportunity for women just to get together on an occasional basis and just be together, just hang out, maybe talk to somebody you didn't know. We did a self-defense class last Saturday. It was phenomenal. Oh my God, it kicked my butt, Kara.
Krav Maga.
Kara,
well, you said you were sore. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's almost gone now.
You're still bruised.
Yeah, but that's the kind of stuff that we want to continue to put out there so we can get women together and bring in great speakers. I mean, there's so much stuff on the horizon that we are not even doing yet. Yeah. Because we're just trying to make sure everything is going along. But that sisterhood is a big part of it.
Yeah, and I like how you get us together almost every month. Next month we're doing that wine and shopping event.
How exciting is that? I'm so excited.
Okay, I'm in on that one for sure.
If you're listening in November, in December for our premium members. Yes. Now, this is where that measly $4.99 a month comes in handy.
$4.99 a month.
And we're doing a premium event for our premium members, and it's a shopping event.
December 10th.
And my favorite little gift store, December 5th. My favorite little gift store, and it's wine tasting and cheese and just a really fun night, and I cannot wait. I'm super excited.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
All right, so we're talking a lot about Ladies Chit Chat Club, but your day job really is as a radio host.
Right.
So I know a little bit about this story, but I do want to talk more about how you even got into radio. Because you were not.
I will tell you, I love this story so much.
Yes,
I could
you
tell
have
all the
to
time.
tell it.
I love this story because I think it's really special. And
it happens to people too.
The name of my production company is Serendipity Productions because there have been so many serendipitous things that happen in my life. But what I've come to realize is there are a lot of people who go through life and opportunity walks right up to them and they walk right by it.
Yeah,
they don't pay
paying attention.
They're not listening when the universe is telling them something.
Well, now everybody's in their iPhone
exactly.
or nobody's really paying attention.
I was a flight attendant for Delta Airlines. I started that when I was 21. And I'd been flying for about 6 years at that point, five years, excuse me. And I was being a flight attendant, you either, at about the 7-year mark, you commit to being a flight attendant forever because it's a great job, it's a great schedule, you have a lot of time off, there's a lot of positives.
Why 7 years?
There seems to be, because after 7 years, you start to get to where you can hold a pretty good schedule. It gets very comfortable. Yeah, it gets comfortable.
Yeah.
So you kind of want to make that break before you get too complacent or too comfortable at that point. And again, I don't want to disparage the job. It was a fabulous job and I loved it. But I knew that's not what I wanted to be when I grew up. Straight up. I was just like, do I want to do this when I'm 50 years old? And I was 27 at the time. And I said, no, I don't want to do this. So I was working a flight once. And two businessmen, this is pre 9/11, I should say that because they probably would have landed the plane at this point. But there was two businessmen, one had the A seat, one had the C seat. They both wanted to put their briefcases in the B seat, neither of which they had a ticket for, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And they actually got into a fist fight on the airplane. While we're in flight. I mean, it was the stupidest, dumbest thing I have seen in a long time. And the following week, I'm working the same flight and I'm telling the other flight attendants what happened and I'm making fun of it and they're like, what did you do? And I said, I got on the PA and gave a blow-by-blow for the people that didn't have a good seat. I mean, it was,
right.
I was just making fun of the whole thing. And an older guy came over to me and he had been listening and he said, you're really funny. You should be in radio or television. And when you're I was a much skinnier, tall, blonde flight attendant then, you get a lot of cards from old men.
Yeah.
It's like, and I was like, okay, thank you so much. And I threw the card away. So the following week, I'm working the same flight in the other direction, and he gets on the airplane with his wife.
Oh, my gosh.
And he said, Sally, this is the girl I was talking about. And for that to happen, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Just statistically, that's remarkable that he got thrown into my path twice. And
he wasn't picking you up because he told his wife and he brought his wife on. Yeah.
Exactly. So he turned out to be a man named Dick Robinson who I am going to have Dick on my show because honest to goodness, he changed the trajectory of my life forever. And I have thanked him. We've had conversations since then, but I really want to talk to him because he's the most amazing, remarkable man. He was in radio for forever and ever. He has them again, a chain of broadcasting schools called the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, but they're all over the country. And he said, look, you should go to my broadcasting school. And I said, well, how long is it? He said, 2 months. That's doable somewhat. And I said, how much is it? And he told me. And I started laughing. I was like, I don't make any money. I have, I don't
flight
have that
attendant.
Kind of, I live with 4 roommates.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to give you an idea of how loaded I am. And he said, well, how much money do you have? And I shot out some ridiculously low number. And he goes, that's fine. I'll give you a scholarship. I have more money than God. Those were his exact words for me.
Oh my gosh.
So I was
He's like a little angel.
Yeah, and I was trying to make this work. I was trying to figure out how I was going to make this work because I can't commit to being there every day if I'm on reserve and all this other stuff. And I'm not kidding you. Like 2 weeks later, Delta put out a notice and said, look, we're trying to, we don't want to lay people off. So are there any flight attendants that would take a voluntary leave of 7 months? And
You're
I
like,
thought,
yes.
Yes. And I got to keep my flight benefits and I got to keep my insurance and stuff. I took the 7th-month leave and my attitude was if I have a job, I won't come back. And if I don't have a job, I'll come back.
Yeah.
But I'll still have this training and I can continue. And I did not have a job. Technically, I did not have a paying job when my 7 months was up, but I was in an internship I loved and I saw a possibility that I can make it work. That there would be paying work eventually. And 20 something, 2 years later, here we are. So isn't that, I think that's a fantastic story, and it's true. So I love telling that story because, again, going back to so many people go through life and things. I am a God person. I believe in God. I believe that God puts you where you need to be when you need to be there. It's our job to pay attention. He doesn't always slap you in the face.
It's funny you mention that because there's a series called God Winks, and the guy wrote all these books, great stories, real life stories about things like this, even more dramatic though. I mean, life saving, and they're doing a movie, The God Wink Christmas, and it comes out this Sunday on Hallmark,
nice.
Not Hallmark Channel, Hallmark Mysteries, and there's another. A lot of Hallmark channels, but the Mysteries and Movies channel.
Okay.
So Sunday.
I'll look at it because I really
channel.
Believe that.
But
I just think too many people don't pay attention. So
they say miracles come into everybody's life every day. We're just not paying attention.
Exactly. And that is that's why I love telling the story, because I hope that someone else if you don't believe in God, then open yourself up to the universe, because the universe is all about energy. And even if you don't believe in God, I happen to think that energy is God, but whatever, we won't quibble. You've got to be open, because things will come into your pathway, and you have to, instead of immediately telling yourself that's unreasonable or not rational, or I can't do that, or here's, like, for instance, what if I just said, well, I'm a flight attendant, I can't get that kind of time off.
Yeah.
Then the story ends.
Yep.
And instead,
wouldn't be here.
I kept that energy going, not that I had anything to do with Delta Airlines offering 7-month leaves. But at the same time, I was still moving in that direction. And when that leave came open, it was like, boom, this is it. This is another sign. This is where I am supposed to be. God's not just showing me the path. He's shoving me down the path, and I'll be a fool if I don't pay attention. So
I wouldn't have known about this without the social media guy who helped run my blog, calling me and going, hey, there's this, contest thing. You should really look into it. And I'm like, a what? For a what? A podcast? What? I go, what's a podcast? And you had to tell me. You go, it's a radio show for the internet.
And
really,
that has been one of the biggest things we've had to overcome, because as I mentioned earlier, we have a very clear target demographic, and that is women over the age of 35, right?
Yeah.
So my biggest hurdle with women over the age of 35 is that they don't know how to use a podcast. They don't know.
Yeah.
And so that's been kind of funny. It didn't occur to me. Being in the industry, you don't necessarily think about stuff like
how
that.
do you do it?
Yeah. So it's been a learning experience. I mean,
it's been
the
fun,
biggest,
but a lot of work,
I'm getting an MBA
sure.
right now.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm getting an MBA.
Learning as we go.
Winging it.
All right. So one thing I want to jump back into, because you mentioned when this was all happening, from flight attendant, whatnot, that wasn't something that you dreamed about. But when you were a little girl, what was your dream?
I wanted to be president of the United States for a long time. And
you'd be a good one.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm not diplomatic enough for politics.
Well, neither is the current president.
Okay, after I said that, I then realized maybe that barrier is no longer a barrier.
I think that's why he's president, because he just says it like it is.
I actually, when I was in college, I worked for the Sergeant-at-Arms office of the Florida Senate. So I was there for the legislative session. And I got to see how the sausage was made a little bit, because I had not had that experience, but I went to committee meetings, and I really had the opportunity, because of the job itself, to just watch. And after I watched,
did that deter you?
No, I did. I thought, I can't play this game. I'm not willing to trade. And when you're 19 and 20, you're the most principled you're ever going to be, because no one challenges those principles.
Yes.
So, and you there's no gray area when you're that age. It's like everything's right or wrong, and then you're like, okay, whatever, dumb me. But I really did. I thought, okay, this is not. I don't have the personality for this. I don't have the to be a successful politician. You have to love politicking. You have to love going out and shaking everybody's hand and meeting everybody, and then you have to love going in to talk to somebody that you may think is a complete moron, and like shine them up with some kind. I can't. I can't do it. So I'm glad I had that experience, because I wouldn't have wasted any more time or energy. But it's kind of ironic that now I'm sort of this political observer. And it actually has made me even more disheartened about the entire process. It really has. Just watching it as closely as I've been watching it for the last 15 years, it is disheartening after a while.
Yeah.
I don't imagine. I mean, I can't imagine being Rush Limbaugh and doing this for 35 years.
Every day.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wears me out, and I'm lucky that my show here in Denver, my boss doesn't care if I ever talk about politics, so he gives me a lot of latitude.
Yeah.
Today we're talking about the pot industry. You
Wow.
know, so it's
little cannabis.
Yeah, so I have a little bit of everything. So it's a lot. This show is very liberating for me because it's not just about politics. I don't think we've really talked about politics since the election, the day after, of course. But
well, they're still counting stupid stuff in
don't
Florida.
Even get me started.
Anyway, so, but I mean, it's funny how as a little kid, that was something you wanted to do.
Oh, yeah.
And you're kind of doing it just in a different way.
Yeah,
You do talk about, I mean,
Yeah.
you still have that political mindset and you just do it in a different format.
I do
now.
think one of my personal skills is that I have the ability to see a big picture in an issue when it comes to politics that perhaps other people don't see right away. And I think one of my gifts at my job is that I can help people understand those big issues. But having that sort of vision, it does make you a little more disgusted with the situation, especially when you can see when your side is doing something and you're like, oh, come on, man, you know. It's easy to throw stones at the other side, but I have the ability to clearly see what my side is doing sometimes, and I just am like, I cringe.
Just put
you
the
know?
blinders on.
Yeah, I really do. So it's one of those things that I do now. I used to watch politics kind of for fun, almost as sport, but it's just gotten so serious.
Yeah.
In the last 10, 12 years, it's gotten so
Everybody's
serious.
really staunchly on the side.
And I don't like that, and I don't want to contribute to that, to be perfectly frank.
Exactly.
I just don't.
Yeah,
you know?
nobody wants to listen to either
No.
party. So let's get off politics because that's not as much fun. All right, so I want to talk about, I'm a movie buff. Obviously, that's why I was doing what I was doing before. So there's a movie out with Sarah Jessica Parker called Here and Now. So I wanted to ask you a question. Her character of Vivian in the movie, she plays like a successful New York singer. I don't want to give too much info, but she gets kind of a grim diagnosis. She's reflecting on her life. And I love one of her lines in the movie. So the line goes, it's something like, there are things I have yet to achieve, I'm not yet done. So for your life, what is that? I mean, what's left for you to achieve?
I have a list. I mean, first of all, I strongly believe that when you stop learning and reinventing and sort of keeping your life and your mind fresh, that's when you start dying.
Yeah.
And I fully intend to put that starting dying thing off as I hope to start dying right before I drop dead. That's my plan, okay?
Well, you hope you're learning until you drop dead.
100%.
I mean, right?
And I do think that is a critical part, actually, of healthy aging. I mean, I sold insurance to old people for 2 years. It was the most valuable learning experience I've ever had for a variety of reasons. But one of the main things I took away from that is the people that are sitting in their easy chair after they retire, they're going to be dead in a year. I don't mean to sound fatalistic, but they're going to be dead. I would have a client call me and say, you know, I'm thinking about getting one of those motorized scooters. And I'm like, well, I hope you have your final expense policy because you're going to be dead in 6 months after you get that scooter. And they wouldn't believe me, and they're dead in 6 months.
Well, look at like George Burns. They said he drank and smoked till he was 101, but he was accepted still in that community of comedians for people who are young. Look George Burns up. Betty White.
Yeah.
I mean, she's like 90 something,
yeah,
but
she's 93 or 94
yeah,
now.
she still gets invited to do things, and it's keeping her
I think that
prevalent.
For me, I mean, I really do have a list of things that I want to do. I always say,
give me two.
When this is, I want
to achieve.
Couple things. I want to write a history of the United States through food. Because I think that when you know the history of the food in this country, it is all so fascinating because it all ties in with other world events and things that were happening. And it's just, it's fabulous. And I'm a foodie and I love to cook and I love cookbooks.
Yeah.
So I would love to do a history of the United States in food. I have every intention of seeing I want to put my foot on every continent. I could live without the Arctic. Okay, who cares, right? You know, it's like whatever. I don't want to go to the Arctic.
We know you're not hiking Everest. So.
No, I'm not hiking Everest. That's way too much.
Yeah.
But I want to put my foot in every continent, and I want to see every corner of the United States.
Yeah.
I've been to every state in the U.S., but I haven't spent a lot of time in some of them. And there's parts of some states that I've never been to that I would love to see. I'd love to see the UP, the Upper Peninsula in Michigan. I don't know why. I'm fascinated by that part, and I haven't seen that. So a lot of the stuff that I want to do also involves like handing down the knowledge that I have. That's another part of the Chit Chat Club is
that's Kara's Corner.
Yeah, it's for me. It's like, okay, I have all this information that is hard earned. I mean, it was hard earned because I'll be perfectly frank, this was a very tough business for women for a long time. It's getting better now. But no one was interested in mentoring. No one was interested in that per se. And so I want to pass all this information down in a productive way so I can help somebody else. So, you know, the history of the food, the history of the country through food, that's the thing that I think about on a regular basis.
That would be a good book.
And the other thing I'm kind of, you know, stuff percolates in my head for a long time. And I'd like to do a movie script based on my first job in radio at this insane radio station, and people would not believe if I just told the stories that went on there. They would think, "Oh my God, that's so stupid. That's so unreal."
Or she made it up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, one of our hosts was, and I'm not sure I remember this exactly right, but it's pretty clear. It's pretty sure he sent an intern to buy cocaine and find a hooker. So that's how the story starts. Okay, and he ends up getting arrested, and it was like this huge debacle. But it was the craziest thing ever. And I started thinking about it, like this. Timing wise, it's a little bit retro, but not super retro. So that's something I have in and I have no idea how to do that. So it's going to be another thing that I have to learn.
Yeah.
And I've decided over Christmas break, I'm going to try and write a book. So I got some stuff.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like I have a book in here. I just have to get it out.
Yeah. It takes more than just a month. Yeah. So you might need a little more time.
With voice to text, I feel like I could do it though, because I'm so used to talking straight. I mean, I can talk for 3 hours a day. I do it 3 hours a day.
Right.
So I feel like if I do voice to text, and I can knock it out. The written part, we'll see. We'll see how this goes, guys.
I started writing a book. Yeah, now you have to. All right, so I'm going to do a quick little, I'm calling it the 5-second speed round.
Okay.
So we're going to do a little speed round with Mandy Connell. All right, so 5 seconds. What are 3 things you like to do to relax?
Read, walk in the woods, and play with my pup.
Oh,
I have a new puppy.
And the puppy's so cute.
Oh my gosh, you guys, she's a St. Bernard puppy.
Oh my gosh.
But let's just say yesterday, we were 0 for 2 with potty training. So it was a rough day at the house yesterday.
She's so good though. She doesn't like jump. I mean, she's not hyper on top. Yeah, she's chill for a puppy.
She's super chill.
She's beautiful too. All right, 5 seconds. If you're on death row, what's your last meal?
My last meal would definitely be seafood related, for sure. Probably there would be a little bit of seafood from whatever you could get from the ocean would be on my plate. Except for sea urchin, I don't like that.
Yeah, me either. I don't know what I know.
Weird.
Yeah. All right, 5 seconds. What are 2 songs that once you hear them, you can't get them out of your head?
Lose Yourself by Eminem is one of them. And any of the songs that we played when my daughter was really, really small.
Oh.
Like, if you want to be grumpy, that's okay. If you're going to be, but could you be grumpy a little further away? Those are embedded in my brain.
Because you heard them
seriously,
so much.
But we still sing them. That's what's so funny about it. So those are, now I'm going to have the grumpy songs.
Yeah, you're going to leave here, have that in your head.
There you go.
What's your favorite time of day?
I would say afternoon. Like I like that sort of when the sun is starting to go down and starting to feel like the day is wrapping up, and you could, if you were a napper, you could nap. You know, I'm not a napper, but I would definitely say late afternoon, but I'm definitely at my peak first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
I mean, just performance-wise.
You're early. Girl.
Yeah.
All right, 5 seconds. What's the one thing that always makes you cry?
Steel Magnolias.
Oh.
Every time.
Usually a movie.
Like a baby. I'm not a person who shows my emotions often, you know, so, but that movie destroys,
gets you.
Oh my God, it guts me, because those are the people I grew up with. I mean, I grew up in the Deep South, and so it's very familiar.
Yes.
And the story itself is just gut-wrenching, you know, and the performances of those women.
I was going to say, those women
incredible.
are,
incredible. So yeah, that one gets me every time.